So like I was just doing my fucking thing. Pretty painless day of Uber Eats deliveries. Okay, I can't really say that, but I don't know. Right now I'm feeling alright about it. It's like 60 something dollars. And I only spent, $3 on it in terms of food. So pretty much starting out like not hungry, but like halfway almost hungry. Or I'm ending off in that state after starting out in that state. So it's like I pretty much, it's like $3 worth of food for $60 or something, 66 something worth of deliveries. And my phone is like not gonna stop reminding me about this useless phone message somebody left. I figured out I should probably fucking switch to getting Google Maps to just navigate me no matter what. Just because the Uber Eats app map sucks so much and it's crap. Because it won't show you like road names. So I just got the last delivery like so wrong. Just because I couldn't see the right road names. I was looking at a glance. And like when I'm in doubt, I'll switch over, but I wasn't in doubt. I was just wrong. So it sucks. Thing about doing Uber is it's like 15-minute bike trip. It thinks it's going to be 6 minutes. 15-minute bike trip thinks it's going to be 6 minutes. And they're sort of a combination of like really great back residential side street kick-ass cycling streets and just like the worst anti-cycling infrastructure that Toronto has to offer, because you gotta go north and south over these rail lines and expressways, and man, nothing fucks up transportation like transportation infrastructure. It's like every time I have to deal with an intersection that's been turned into an interchange, it's like 5 times the amount of time to get through it, and extra hills to climb to get through it, and 5 times the amount of time. It's just ridiculous. It's really definitely to promote driving. It's a really nice day on the Hummer. So it's like I pretty much, I started and I kind of wanted to started from home. Just like went online at my place and took the first thing that I got. And the only one that I accepted everything, but then I canceled one order getting to the place and noticing they had this note saying I needed the freaking bag. I'm like, fuck you. So I cancel it without even talking to them this time. I'm thinking, they're just gonna end up being like, why do we have so many people just canceling after like accepting and then arriving? I don't know, they'll figure it out. Most of the time when they have those type of things on there, you go in and they don't even mention it. But I don't, or they're just like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just the manager, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't feel like doing a big thing where I don't know, I don't want to get into this like manager versus front-end employee bullshit. If you're exposing me to that, then you're already a fucked up restaurant. So I don't know if was it Queensway or Lakeshore? It was Queensway. Good luck with your plan. I'm having a great time with my fucking crazy slated box here. I made $60 today Everybody's food was fucking warm. Everybody's food was in excellent shape. My bike was parked right next to your restaurant. Good job adding 10 minutes to, like, it was a long way to that fucking restaurant. So, good job, Fat Bastard Burrito, for adding, 10 minutes to this person's delivery time, at least. Who knows how many other people have, like, accepted and then canceled, and then it has to go shuffle it through the available cyclists again, and like, I can't imagine. So dumb. There is no requirement in Uber to have the bag, it's taken care of by the customer feedback system. If we deliver food that isn't in perfect shape, we get a thumbs down from the customer. We got 15 thumbs down without getting 86 thumbs up in the same time period. And that's it. Put it off the app forever. So I don't think you need to be specifying for the fucking bag, bitch. Like, it's stupid. I love this stuff. There's a billion different ways. This is like why it's not employment. It's definitely, I'm an independent contractor using some developers' app as a super kick-ass classified ads network system, and by using that system, I'm answering classified ads for deliveries, and I'm becoming a partner with that business. And when I go online, nobody tells me, like, you should go to this place. The app's like, you should probably go to this place, but the app's not like, what are you doing over there? It's Mississauga. Nobody fucking wants your, lycra ass dragging around fucking Queensway. But they do. The drivers are so nice. It's so funny. They're so cool. It's like all this anti-cycling infra, and the driver behavior is really pretty fucking chill. I had this guy like hanging back behind me on this one road that was sort of under construction. And because it was under construction, like, he had space to pass me, but just barely, and I was squeezed right in. I was like looking back at him like, come on, you can do it. And the guy's just keeping their distance, and then I'm like, I go all the way over to the other side of the road because there's nothing in that lane, and it's all like sectioned off, but it's totally smooth. So I'm bombing down the road. The person's got nothing in front of them. They're still hanging back. I merge back over. They're still behind me. And of course it doesn't matter. We come up on a line of parked cars, of like stopped cars at a stoplight anyway. So they know the whole thing. They know this is the thing. The level of savviness among the drivers is really increasing. So they're starting to realize when it is or isn't, or maybe isn't worth it to pass, and they're just hanging back. It's really cool. So today was one of those days where I was like, okay, I'm gonna start out from home. I'm just gonna like clean and fucking just do chores and shit until I get a thing and be ready to leave. I was out the door in like 20 seconds, bombed over to the thing. I figured out some, like, this sort of gives you an excuse to do all sorts of mapping research and like cycling route research. And so, because I'm getting paid like at least minimum wage, and at most a living wage, to be cycling around and stuff and discovering what every single road en route looks like, and discovering kind of like the cyclist paths through all the different areas. And in doing so, I'm noticing there's all these spots with big dips and hills and stuff that are like big, but they are not long. And so because they're too short to fall within the threshold of like the size that something has to be to show up in the Google Maps cycling directions thing. Like, it's weird because I think Google Maps has a few different elevation layers, because you can be on a segment of road that it doesn't think has a hill. You can be on the street view of it, and you can mouse over, like you just put your mouse over different parts of the road, and it'll show you the different tagged positions that it has imagery for. So it has the correct elevations of like each of those locations. So if it just based the route paths, the road paths on that elevation map, then it would be accurate. But right now it's like missing all these little roads, all these little hills, because they're short and they're not long enough. So I'm discovering there's all these routes that Google thinks is flat, but are not flat. And then there's all these other routes that Google thinks are like crappy in comparison, but are actually like flat and totally great. So I'm kind of discovering a whole bunch of those, making a mental map of it. I'm correcting some of them in Google Maps. I'm going to see how they respond to my elevation corrections. But I mean, I could single-handedly just get the whole thing corrected, because it's not that hard. And this job has me, going all over, or rather, this self-employment entrepreneurship, this business that I'm running, my business that I'm running has me going all over the city. So just because I just accept whatever, typically, I'll sort of, I know the different vortexes that I'm going to get sucked into. There's this vortex over here in Etobicoke, or west of the Humber, the Mimico, Etobicoke area. And you can get sucked into that vortex, or I can get sucked onto the hill at between St. Clair and Lawrence, between, I guess it's like Bathurst and, I don't know, Caledonia sort of. Yeah, between Caledonia and Rose, between Caledonia and that cemetery, Mount Pleasant, yeah. So that whole hill is another vortex that you can get sucked into, or the downtown core, or if you get sucked into Swansea, you get sucked out of Swansea really fast into the downtown core. And I've ended up in spots where I'm sort of going back and forth across these thresholds, like across High Park a couple times, but then I'll end up on the downtown core side, and then I get sucked into the downtown, and I never get sucked over to the East End from downtown. I get sucked into the vortex of the core, and then it's just financial district, entertainment district, Parkdale, Little Portugal, Chinatown, Kensington Market, the Annex, back to the U district, over to Ryerson, and then back down to the financial district. And then sometimes it'll get me going back and forth to Lakeshore and shit like that from the core, which is hilarious. It's so sad. You get all these food desert runs where it's from the most terrible, little restaurants, little snack shops and shit, across these wastelands of terrible anti-cycling, anti-walking, and even anti-driving. These roads, they look like they're designed to promote driving, but they're designed to promote driving by making it impossible to do anything else. So it ends up being not even that much harder to bike them, but you end up with all these trips that are just generated by the Gardiner Expressway itself, just because nobody wants to cross it unless they're getting paid to, so they will pay somebody to cross it for them. And then cross back into the next person will pay me to cross back into the downtown and then back down to the lakeshore for them, or whatever it is. But it's the same thing across the Humber, somebody just ordered fucking so there's the Cineplex Odeon theaters at frickin' I don't know if it's the Queensway and Islington or something ridiculous like that. They ordered popcorn, $5 worth of popcorn, to their place in the neighborhood that is like just west of the Humber Valley and just north of the Queensway. And it's like not close, but at the same time, where the fuck are they gonna go? They have nowhere else to go. And I'm just like, I get to that area, and then when I'm there, I'm like, oh, that's right. There is nothing. Like, I don't know, you can go up to Bloor, and then you sort of have something. So I guess they should have ordered from Bloor, but it's not really that much closer or better or whatever. But that was like a $12 affair for what could not have been more than $5 worth of popcorn. Like, this was a single serving of popcorn for this like guy who looked like so fucking bored. So I just sometimes I'm like, this is really entertaining, because it's pretty entertaining. But yeah, this is one of those days where like no commute in, but that's because I didn't decide which area I was going to do. I just decided to let the fates decide, let the market randomness decide. And so I just get sucked into wherever I was going to get sucked into, and then just party till I lost my enthusiasm for it, and then just clock out and figure out how to get back, and then get back. And that last weird popcorn delivery sort of brought me like a third of the way back home. So I got no commute to work. I got, like, my commute to work was like me doing chores at home. My commute home is, I guess, like an hour through this beautiful river valley path, you know, because I picked this. And I'll just grab some groceries along the way with my loot monies and call it a day. Go frag some noobs in the wonderful world of Project Reality. The crazy battle game that I play with 99 other people at a time on the fantastic internet. It's just, and it's basically the same thing. Where am I on this map, and where am I going to do there? Which direction am I facing? Today I delivered to this university where I don't even know what fucking college this was. Maybe it was a Humber thing. I don't know what it was. But none of the buildings were marked properly. None of the addresses made any sense. The woman walked like 2 minutes to get to me, because that was going to be simpler than like explaining how to get there. And then the next place I had to deliver to, the building there was no address on the building. I actually ended up seeing the name of the architect before I could find the address. The first address marker with the number of the street was actually inside the lobby. Like, what is your fucking plan? So it turns out they don't have to put the address on until construction is completed, but they can move tons of people in before construction is completed. So it's still considered a construction site. It doesn't have to have an address. Maybe there's some kind of thing that they have to wait, or maybe there's some kind of advantage to them waiting, but I'm gonna like look into this at City Hall. I had this chat with the concierge guys, and they're kind of laughing about it too. But I'm gonna figure it out. Because my curiosity has been piqued. You piqued the Dorian Sky curiosity cave. It's the cave in my mind where I put mysteries that I haven't solved yet. The cave has many strange tunnels and rooms that are of undefined shape, and you need lights to get in there. And every once in a while I go spelunking in that cave and whip out a mystery and bring it out into the light of day. And you have to dig yourself up into the light from the mystery tunnels. You have to find your way through the roots, between the roots and between the pipes and shit like that, and then get up through the manhole and then figure out, aha, it's a weird City Hall thing that I'll solve by talking to my counselor, and she'll solve by putting a bill forward. Emotion. a motion forward, and then city will solve it by deferring it to a committee. Committee will solve it by deferring it back to the city with requests for more study, and the city will review it, and a year later, we'll have all the fucking addresses we want. Or I will just go around and graffiti them all on. I will. Just systematically. Not while I'm doing this, though. I'm just, maybe each day I could just like come back to each place that doesn't have the address. No, I'll just like come back. But I'll get a good stencil thing. I gotta go to the and get some, my connection's all fucked. I need like that thick of a paint roller so I can do letters. And then I need like that thick of one so I can do like guerrilla road markers and shit, like lane markers. Because I'm gonna restripe the roads to make them safer. It's time to go home, but first I'm gonna head up the grocery store.